Namaste. I honor the divine that you are. And today I want to speak to all the spiritual teachers and the spiritual seekers out there. And if you haven't become aware of the 10 restraints and observances of yoga, I encourage you to do that. The first one is non-injury, and the second is truth. And the wise ones, the wise ancient yogis, brought these 10 principles, the so-called 10 commandments of yoga, to our awareness because they realize that as we do our spiritual practices, as we purify, as we get more and more powers, there's more and more ability to abuse our power. We rise in our consciousness, and there are those who are less conscious of us. And if we're not careful, we can start to realize that, I can say untruths and get away with it with people less conscious than me. They don't know. But this is a real tragedy. And it's a tragedy because if you're enlightened, if you've had your own direct experience of the absolute truth, that what we are is one, truly. It's not just some idea. It's not just something people say. There's a formless one that's omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, present everywhere, all-knowing, all-powerful, that permeates everything. And this is from which all of these forms come and all of these forms return. And because we're all one, and we've come into multiple forms so that we can have this divine play of the comedies and the tragedies and the dances of the gods and goddesses at play. We have to take really good care of ourselves and of each other. If we don't, it really hurts us. That's why the very first restraint is non-injury. Non-injury. We don't want to hurt each other so that we can go through this life with open hearts. If I just tell a little white lie to you and I think you're not going to know the difference, on some level I'm going to feel that because I'm one with you. Really, in reality. I might not know what feels out, but something doesn't quite feel right. And when you have a whole spiritual community and you have a spiritual teacher who starts feeling like they can abuse their power because they're more conscious than those that they're teaching, well, something starts to feel out in that community and people start talking and comparing notes, and pretty soon the truth comes out. And you've got a destroyed community. You've got a devastated and a destroyed community, and a spiritual teacher that worked very hard building up this community, serving this community, and then didn't have the wisdom to not abuse their power. The ancient yogis brought in these restraints and observances because they know that as we grow spiritually, we gain more and more power. We gain more and more power and more consciousness. And that means we have more and more ability to manipulate others, to tell them untruths, to treat them in ways for our own benefit. And in the end, it hurts everybody, including the spiritual teacher. Because we absolutely love each other completely. And we will not continue to hurt each other for very long before we just feel so guilty and so bad that we diminish our power and we stop our teaching and we stop our service. And all of that hard work of all of those offerings is for naught. So I implore you to get yourself enlightened if you're not. Seek out an enlightenment intensive retreat. They are available all over the world. I give them myself, and if I get enough people telling me they're interested, I'd be happy to put one on. 3.5 days of investigating the truth for yourself, contemplating who am I, what am I, and doing this in dyad partner, which is a supercharged, powerful, fast way to get enlightened, to have your own direct experience of the truth. So you're not just believing what other people say. Okay, you know it for yourself. And that's just the beginning. Once you know it, that's just the beginning. Now you've got to integrate it. Now you've got to figure out what that means and how do I live that? How do I align with this new truth that I've just become aware of? And that's the ongoing challenge. So I would just like to encourage you to study the restraints and observances of yoga. I'll keep talking about them, but look them up if you don't know what all 10 are. Sexual restraint is one of them. Sexual energy gets really strong the more purified you get. It starts purifying that sexual chakra, and it starts to get to be really hard to control. You can wreak havoc in your life and the lives of a lot of others if you don't take charge of your sexual energy. So one of the yamas and yamas is sexual restraint. There's a good reason for that. Okay, there's good reasons for all of them. I encourage you to learn them. I'll keep talking about them, find out about them. Let's keep this conversation alive and support each other in going full steam ahead with our spiritual evolution. And I'm with you in this journey. Namaste. I honor the divine that you are.